If you have donated, make sure to leave an email address. And if you have donated and have not received your video, shoot me an email. And also make sure to check your spam folder. What happened to the Maya? Some people claim that the Maya never left and are the people still living in the old Maya-occupied territories. However, the most common theory is that they were wiped out by the Spanish, mostly due to disease. But is there any chance that some of the Maya could have relocated? There have been reports that stated that some of the Maya did relocate to Guatemala after the fall of the Mayan Empire. But is there a chance that the Maya could have relocated to the north end of the Gulf Coast, specifically around Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, or Florida? Because apparently there are some very strong cultural connections and even strong archaeological connections, especially at the Crystal River site in Florida, where Mayan hieroglyphics were found and a cache of other Mayan artifacts buried in a temple mound complex. This mound complex just happened to be constructed with a similar layout, design, and astronomical alignment to Venus as the Mayan complexes in the Yucatan. But this isn't where the connections end. Many of the places and names associated with Florida, Georgia, and to a lesser extent the Southeast are Itza Mayan in origin, especially cities, mountains, and rivers. The Itza Maya language was one of the last variations spoken during the fall of the Mayan Empire in the late 1600s. Itza Mayan words of places and names that may sound familiar are names like Tallahassee, Muskogee, Hatice, Okeechobee, Appalachie, Etowah, Catawba, Chickamauga, Tallulah. Any word with Hoochie or Hatchie is of Itza Mayan origin, meaning creek or shallow river. Rivers like the Tallahatchie, the Chattahoochee. Any river with a Hatchie or a Hoochie, or even a Coochie for that matter, is of Itza Mayan origin. When the Maya ruins were first discovered, they do not look like they do right now. Most of them resembled a mound or a hill of dirt that had been massively overgrown by the forest. All of these monuments have been restored. That means that historians and archaeologists and some architects have used their creative license to rebuild these monuments. So what you're seeing is a result of what they think these monuments look like. And that goes for much of the stele as well. When you're seeing these depictions, many of them have been restored by artists. So even the stele that may look really ornate or intricate, many of these stele have been repurposed and restored. Remember Brigitto Lara, the man who forged over 40,000 Mesoamerican artifacts. Many of these artifacts were whitewashed. He basically remade the face of Veracruz through his art. So when you're seeing some of these depictions, understand what's going on here. Brigitto Lara was faking artifacts, and the archaeologists were dating it in the correct period. They were dated between 200 and 600 AD perfectly. But he just faked it in 1973. What are we talking about? Use your brain, Maine. Be careful of the more than perfect depictions. So, of course, these people have been accused of whitewashing the early stelae. They've been accused of whitewashing the early lithographs and photographs, and or doing the same thing Napoleon was accused of, like breaking the mouths and the lips and the noses off Mayan artifacts. That's why so many of them don't have lips and noses. Charlatan's Web quote, Asian Mexicans. To jump down just below the colonial era. However, regular immigration did not begin until 1565 with the establishment of the Manila-Acapulco galleon, which economically linked Asia, the Americas, and Europe. During those 2.5 centuries, many Filipinos, Mexicans, and others sailed from Mexico and the Philippines. Mexicans as soldiers, governors, and sailors, and Filipinos as slaves, prisoners, and crew. Okay, so we're talking about really an intercontinental exchange of people. And of course, there's going to be some mingling going on, right? On these voyages, thousands of Asian individuals, mostly males, were brought to Mexico as slaves and were called chinos or indios chinos, which meant Chinese and Indian respectively. Although in reality, they were of diverse origins, mostly Filipino, but also including slaves brought from the Portuguese or captured through war, like Moros, Muslim Filipinos, Malays, Javanese, Bengalis, and other ethnic groups in smaller numbers, such as Japanese, Chinese, Sinhalese, Cambodians, Koreans, and Timorese. So continuing, during the early period of Spanish colonization of the Philippines, Spaniards took advantage of the indigenous alipin, the bonded serf system in the Philippines, to circumvent the leyes de las Indias, the laws of the Indies, and acquire Filipino slaves for the voyage back to New Spain. Though the numbers are unknown, of course they're unknown, and you should hear some of these estimates. Though the numbers are unknown, it was so prevalent that slaves brought on ships were restricted to 1 per person, except for persons of rank, in the laws regarding navigation and commerce, to avoid exhausting ship provisions. They were also taxed heavily upon arrival in Acapulco in an effort to reduce slave traffic. Traffic in Filipino women as slaves, servants, and mistresses of government officials, crew, and passengers also caused scandals in the 17th century. Women comprised of about 20% of the migrants from the Philippines. What this is really saying that they were bringing Filipino women here since the late 1500s, and a primary purpose of these Filipino women were to act as mistresses for government officials. And what happens when a woman is a mistress for anyone? They usually end up having children out of wedlock. These Filipinos, some were slaves, some were indentured servants, some were mercenaries. They played an important role in the class system. And of course, at this time in colonialism, the class system is based off colorism. And so what you're really seeing with these people is a combination of genetics. Now, look at that boy face right there. You got that old Siberian face, man. Got them Tartarian lips there, boy. You got that yak fade, boy. Look at some bitch right there. Looking like a straight Tartarian. Siberian, looking like he walked across the Bering Strait barefoot, boy. Look at that boy. Yeah, man. Tartarian if I ever seen. Because, obviously he got that Bering Strait face. That Tartarian taper. That Siberian shape up. I can't think of no more. You got the Inuit perm. You got that Falkland fade. I don't know where the fuck. I don't think that's not right. You got that Aryan afro. All right, I guess there's nothing here. Oh, there's something there. I can't find it, and it's making me mad. They say they're ball players, but maybe that ball's ping pong ball. Ping pong player. Yeah. Those ball courts, they were ping pong courts. I bet you up on that helmet, he got a damn flamenco fade. Just some bitch gotta let it line up. The Moscow mullet. There's some other heads out there. You got the La Ventas, right? You got the dang La Venta heads over there. You got the San Lorenzis over there. I don't know much about anything, but there was some old big little bastards over there on the Veracruz coast, and they was most likely Siberians. Let's keep it 100, boy. What them boys say? Let's keep it 100.